Archangel Michael says, "Have you felt like something beautiful was supposed to happen, but never did? Did you sense a breakthrough, a blessing, a shift in the air, and then silence? Why do you keep getting close to joy, only for it to slip away? And why do you keep dreaming of crowns, scrolls, or lights that vanish before you touch them? That's not your imagination. That's not emotional exhaustion. That was your spirit brushing against your reward. Yes, child, you have already been awarded something in the heavenly realms. Your name has been carved into a scroll of honor. Your obedience, your tears, your late-night prayers, they reached the ears of the Most High, and heaven said, "Bless them." But someone tried to stop it. There was interference. There was resistance. There was a jealous voice who said, "Why them?" A shadowed presence that whispered, "Delay it." But I, Archangel Michael, say no more. The scroll still bears your name. The award still glows. And I have come to break the blockade. You are not watching this by mistake. You were led. Everything tried to stop this message from reaching you. Yet here it is. You've been wondering why the atmosphere around you has shifted, why your sleep feels heavier, why your chest burns when you pray. It's because you were crowned in heaven, but the enemy tried to cancel the ceremony. Not anymore. I am here to reveal what was hidden. I am here to hand you back what was stolen. The award is real. The time is now. The fight is over, if you say yes. Type 111, if you feel the truth in this. Heaven has not forgotten you. Archangel Michael says, "Child, before you were ever wounded, you were honored. Before you were ever rejected, you were chosen. And before anyone tried to delay your destiny, heaven already sealed your reward. I was there. I stood before the throne of the Almighty. I saw your name, etched in light, emblazoned across a divine scroll. Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. You kept walking when your legs trembled. You kept trusting when the answers didn't come. You stayed when it would have been easier to run. That scroll was not a metaphor. It was real. And I, Michael, was ordered to deliver what was written upon it. You were awarded a divine inheritance, favor that cannot be revoked, restoration that reaches backward, healing that breaks generational affliction. It was not just a blessing. It was a proclamation. This one has endured. Now reward them in the spirit. But child, what is sealed in heaven does not arrive on earth without warfare. There was a moment. The very second the scroll was handed into my care, a shift occurred in the spirit realm. A dark presence appeared, cloaked not in black, but in imitation light. It stood before the court of heaven and said, "They don't deserve it. Not yet. Delay it." But it was too late. The scroll had already been signed. The seal had already been pressed. 7 angels had already touched it. The decree was final. Your reward is real. And your reward has a name. It is called inheritance of the overcomer. Not everyone receives it. It is reserved only for those who suffer in silence and still worship. Those who stand in the fire and refuse to curse God. Those who cry on their pillow and still rise to encourage others. You are one of them. That's why your name is on the scroll. That's why I'm speaking now. But listen to me carefully. The scroll has been sealed, but not yet delivered, because someone tried to intercept it, not with power, but with deception. They did not storm heaven. They stormed your trust. They positioned themselves near your life. They acted supportive. They called you friend. They prayed over you, but not to the same God. They said amen with their mouth, but cursed you with their spirit. They knew something had been released over you, even before you did. That's why the moment things started going well, things started falling apart. That's why every time you gained momentum, a strange delay followed. That's why certain people started acting odd around you for no clear reason. Because they sensed what you hadn't realized yet. You were about to be crowned. And they tried to block it. I, Archangel Michael, was not surprised. But I was angered. You do not touch a scroll sealed by heaven and go unnoticed. That is why I've been pacing outside your home in the spirit. You didn't see me, but you felt the heaviness. You thought it was sadness. But it was me, pressing into the atmosphere, trying to awaken your awareness. Because I cannot deliver what you do not claim. And here is where I speak clearly. The scroll is hovering over your life. The reward is active. The enemy's block has weakened. But you must now open your heart and mouth and say, I receive what is mine. Do not just read these words, speak them. The reward is not just symbolic. It carries 3 gifts within it. Gift 1. Supernatural clarity. Your confusion is not yours. It was assigned to delay you. Once the scroll is activated, mental fog will begin to lift. Sudden understanding will come. You will remember dreams, feel direction, hear heaven. Gift 2. Angelic protection. You are not walking alone anymore. Your home will be guarded differently. There are spiritual enemies who will try to return, but they will not be allowed to enter again. Gift 3. Divine acceleration. What was moving slow will move fast. Connections, opportunities, and messages you were waiting for will now rush toward you, because the delay has expired. But child, this is what you must understand. The scroll was never lost. The reward was never denied, but it had to wait. For you to wake up to who you are. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are awarded. I saw you when you forgave someone who never apologized. I saw you when you tithed in secret, even when you were in lack. I saw you bless people who gossiped about you. Heaven records every silent sacrifice. And now heaven responds. The sealed reward is hovering. Your spiritual name is glowing. I can deliver it today, but only if your spirit says yes. Type 111 to break the blockade. Type 111 if you are ready to receive what has been waiting. This is not just about favor. It's about fulfillment. This scroll is your release notice. No more holding back. No more delay. No more pretending not to feel it. You have been awarded, and it's time. Archangel Michael says, you have no idea how close it came. How close your reward was to being completely intercepted. I speak now with fire in my voice. Because what I'm about to reveal is not just painful. It is essential. Someone interfered. And it wasn't a stranger. It wasn't an outsider. It was someone who touched your life with familiarity. They sat at your table. They spoke blessings out loud, while planting curses in the spirit. Yes, child, I must tell you the truth. You were awarded, but they were watching. You were elevated, but they were eavesdropping. And the moment the scroll bearing your name was sealed, they moved in silence. They tried to block it, not with chains, but with shadows, not with war, but with whispers. You felt it, the sudden delays, the strange emotional exhaustion, the unexpected arguments that had no explanation. That wasn't life being difficult. That was interference. They began speaking your name into rooms they weren't authorized to enter. Spiritual rooms, rooms of decision, rooms of influence, rooms of assignment. And each time they mentioned you, they coded it in flattery, but meant sabotage. They said, I'm just concerned about them. But they were stirring suspicion. They said, I only want the best for them. But they were sowing division. They cloaked their jealousy and false concern. They masked envy behind advice. And because of this, the delivery of your spiritual award was delayed. Yes, delayed, but not denied. Because heaven watches even the whispers. I stood silent for a moment. Not because I was powerless, but because I was commanded to see who would reveal themselves. And they did. One by one, people you thought were safe began to show cracks in their mask. Some became distant. Some suddenly began questioning everything you did. Some started sharing private things you told them in confidence. And in the spirit, I recorded every word. They had access to you, not because they earned it, but because you loved purely. You believed the best. You gave grace. But child, grace without discernment is dangerous, and that's why I have been trying to reach you. The interference was spiritual. They began praying, not for your good, but for your pause. Their prayers became counter-prayers, not to uplift you, but to spiritually pause the momentum around your name. Let me be clear. There was an attempt to reroute your blessing, to pull your scroll into their jurisdiction, to misalign your favor onto their timeline. They said, "If I can't rise, they won't either." And that, my child, is when I drew my sword. Because this was no longer envy. This was sabotage. And heaven does not tolerate spiritual theft. But listen to me now. This next part is hard, but necessary. Some of the interference came through people who didn't even realize they were being used. They were vessels. They thought they were helping. But they were emotionally manipulated by a jealous force operating through someone else. The spirit behind the interference isn't always loud. Sometimes it's soft. It works through confusion, fatigue, repeated failure. It whispers, "Maybe you're not ready. Maybe God changed his mind. Maybe it was all in your head." But child, I say to you now, those are lies. Heaven has not changed its mind about you. The scroll still bears your name. The light around it still burns. But you must expose the interference, not with confrontation, but with revelation. Here is how you know who tried to block you. They started speaking less when you shared good news. They shifted their tone when you mentioned spiritual success. You felt smaller after being around them, not stronger. You walked away from conversations feeling drained, not fed. These are signs. Do not ignore them. Do not brush them off. The enemy hides behind familiarity, but discernment unmasks them. And I am here to unmask what has stood in your way. Archangel Michael says this. They saw your award and said, "It should have been mine." But they forgot one thing. Heaven does not operate on competition. Heaven operates on covenant. What is yours, and no spiritual interference can override what God has sealed. But the reason I must warn you is because if you don't spiritually sever these ties, they will continue to drain the energy around your promise. It's time to cut the cord, not out of hate, but out of holy alignment. You must love them from a distance. You must bless them without letting them camp in your atmosphere. Because your reward is too sacred to let it sit in delay any longer. You're not imagining the pressure. You're not overreacting. You're not being too sensitive. You are awakening, and heaven is responding. This interference ends now. But listen, there's one more truth you must receive. Even though they tried to block it, even though they tried to reroute it, even though they prayed against your elevation, they failed. The scroll is still glowing. Your name is still written. And I, Archangel Michael, have been given a new instruction. Deliver it anyway. Because now you know. Now you see. Now you can protect what is yours. This interference was their last attempt. They will try no more. But the next move must come from you. Say this out loud. No more delay. No more interference. I receive what is mine. And the scroll will begin to descend. The person who tried to block your reward will watch you walk into it. They will see the favor rest on your name. And they will remember the moment they underestimated the one heaven has crowned. Type 999 if you are cutting every spiritual chain now. Type 999 if you are reclaiming what was almost stolen. The scroll is moving. The interference has been broken. The next chapter begins now. Archangel Michael says, I told you the scroll is real. I told you the interference has failed. Now I tell you, the unveiling has already begun. You don't have to wait for it anymore. You are already standing in the shift. The atmosphere around your life has already started to change. But here's the mystery. You didn't realize what was happening. Because unveiling in the spirit does not begin with loud thunder. It begins with small signs, holy ripples, prophetic disturbances. And now I come to open your eyes. You felt it days ago, didn't you? That strange moment where the room suddenly felt full. That fleeting image in your dream, a crown, a light, a door. That moment you felt tears for no reason. That was not emotional. That was spiritual awareness awakening. You thought you were tired. But it was your soul adjusting to the weight of glory preparing to descend. You thought you were anxious. But it was your spirit feeling heaven's nearness. The scroll was being lowered. Your name was being whispered in heaven. And the veil between realms was growing thin. The unveiling begins not with explosions, but with whispers. Now hear me carefully. The enemy tried to blind you. They tried to make you numb, passive, disconnected. They wanted you to sleep through your own visitation. But they failed, because something inside you kept stirring, a restlessness, a holy frustration, a deep sense of something's coming. You were right, and it has come. You are not just stepping into a blessing. You are stepping into the reveal of your true spiritual identity. This is why certain people suddenly turned cold toward you. This is why your sleep patterns shifted. This is why your spirit has been uneasy in rooms that used to feel safe. You are not who they think you are anymore. Because the unveiling is not just of a scroll, it is the unveiling of you. The you that was hidden. The you that cried in silence. The you that survived betrayal, loneliness, and spiritual attacks, and still chose purity. Heaven is pulling the curtain back, not just on your reward, but on your calling, on your mantle, on your divine placement in this era. You were always different. You just didn't know why. You always felt misunderstood. You always felt overlooked. Even when you were celebrated publicly, there was an ache of invisibility privately. That's because your spirit carried a weight of glory that had not yet been announced. But now it has. The scroll is descending, and everything that was foggy is coming into focus. You will begin to notice it now. People treating you differently and not knowing why. Your dreams becoming more vivid, more spiritual, more revealing. Waking up at specific times, 3:33, 4:44, 1:11, and feeling divine presence. These are not patterns. These are codes. Heaven's activation codes. Archangel Michael says this: "The unveiling has started, but I must give you instruction. Because when heaven begins to move openly in your life, counterfeit alliances rise. People will suddenly reach out. Someone from your past will try to reconnect. An opportunity will appear, but it will be too shiny, too soon. Do not say yes to every door, because some are veils in disguise. The unveiling is not just about what God is giving. It's also about what God is exposing. Someone who pretended to be for you will be revealed as the one who whispered delay. Someone who once claimed to love you will be shaken when your name starts rising. Watch closely. The unveiling exposes truth and falsehood. This is also why you've been feeling pressure in your chest. Your body has been aching without reason. Your mind has been racing without clarity. Because your spirit is preparing to carry more. The scroll you are about to receive is not light. It carries your divine assignment. It carries your new season's instructions. And yes, it carries names. Yes, names. Because in this unveiling, new divine connections will appear. God is not just giving you a reward. He's giving you a team, a divine alignment. You were not meant to walk into this next season alone. You were meant to walk with those who see the real you. Now hear this. The unveiling also triggers a countdown. Yes, a countdown. Once heaven begins to open this scroll over your life, the enemy has 7 days to attempt a final block. But this time, you will not fall for it. Because now your eyes are open. You will recognize the patterns, the seductions, the distractions, the false emergencies meant to divert your focus. Ignore them. Your only task now is to keep your spirit pure, your posture bowed, and your heart alert. Do not argue with those who suddenly feel off. Do not defend yourself against rumors or strange silence. Do not try to explain what God is doing to people who were never meant to walk with you. This unveiling is personal, it's holy, it's dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, and it's irreversible. I stand beside you as it begins. I, Michael, the defender of glory, have been authorized to escort this unveiling. I will guard your scroll. I will expose the interference. And I will stand at your doorway, sword drawn, until the reward is delivered. But you must do your part. You must believe that what's been spoken is real. You must stop calling spiritual delay coincidence. You must stop doubting the signs, the chills you feel when you pray. That's the veil moving. The dreams with symbols you don't understand? That's heaven speaking. The sudden urge to withdraw and be silent? That's preparation. Archangel Michael says this: you are not becoming new. You are being revealed. This is the version of you that was always there, hidden under trauma, buried under survival, silenced by false humility. Now you rise, not just in strength, but in sight. The unveiling has begun, and no one can stop it now. Type 444 if you feel the light opening over your life. Type 444 to agree with heaven's unveiling. Type 444 if you are ready to see what was always yours. The scroll is open, your name is glowing, and your enemies are watching in silence, because nothing can stop what is now unfolding. Archangel Michael says, you are now standing at the edge of the promise. The scroll is open. The interference has failed. The unveiling has begun. And now I say to you, child, it is time to activate the award. Heaven does not force. Heaven invites. Heaven delivers only to those who say yes. You have come this far, but there is one more step. The reward has been hovering. Now it must be sealed into your life. How? By agreement. The kingdom of darkness fights for permission to oppress, but the kingdom of heaven waits for agreement to release. And so I, Archangel Michael, ask you now, do you agree with heaven? Do you receive what was always yours? Do you declare that nothing stolen will remain in enemy hands? If your answer is yes, then hear me clearly. This is how the award is activated. Step 1. Verbal agreement. Speak this aloud, not in your mind, not in silence, but with your voice. I agree with what heaven has written about me. I accept my divine inheritance. I cancel every word, whisper, and curse that tried to block this award. There is power in your tongue. The scroll has waited for that agreement. The moment you declare it, something shifts. Your home, your energy, your emotions, all begin to respond. Because the activation has begun. You may feel warmth. You may feel a chill. You may feel a sudden release of tears. That is your spirit exhaling years of delay. You have said yes, and heaven has heard it. Step 2. Severing the remaining cords. Before full activation, there must be a clean cut. Residual ties still linger in the corners of your life. Bitterness from someone who betrayed you. Fear from a door that once slammed shut. Doubt from promises that seem forgotten. These are cords, and they drain the charge of what's coming. Say this now. I release the past. I forgive those who interfered. I cut every cord that God did not tie. Do not cling to what wounded you. If you want your hands open to receive, they must not be clenched in resentment. As you say this, I, Michael, cut the final spiritual tethers that tried to hold you in delay. You are free, and now your award is ready to land. Step 3. Sanctuary preparation. This is not a ritual. This is alignment. Tonight, before you sleep, prepare a space. A quiet place, be it a room, a chair, or even the side of your bed. Light a candle or sit in stillness, not for show, but for surrender. Say aloud, Michael, I invite the scroll into my atmosphere. Let what was written in heaven now be received on earth. When you say this, I will come, not with a sword, but with a scroll of glory, sealed in divine gold. You won't need to see it to know it's real. You will feel it. Your sleep will be different. Your dreams will carry codes. Your soul will feel lighter. Because the activation is no longer pending. It is present. Step 4. Walk differently. Once your reward activates, you must not return to old patterns. Walk like someone awarded. Pray like someone authorized. Decide like someone who's carrying heaven's approval. The enemy will try to trick you. He'll whisper, "Nothing's changed." But oh, child, so much has changed. You are no longer waiting for it. You are walking in it. The favor you carry will irritate some, but don't shrink back to make others comfortable. You are a walking announcement of God's justice. You survived what was meant to ruin you. Now you will thrive with what was meant to reward you. Step 5. Watch for the sign. Within 3 days of activation, you will receive confirmation. A person will speak a phrase that mirrors something you prayed. A number will repeat, 111, 444, 777, that will carry weight. An old door will open in a strange way, or something long buried will reappear. Do not dismiss it. It is not coincidence. It is the scroll activating in your physical world. Respond to it. Thank God. Stand still in the moment. And remember, this is the evidence. Heaven is not just spiritual. Heaven touches earth when faith meets instruction. Archangel Michael says this, "I've fought for this moment. I've hovered for weeks outside your atmosphere. I've stood with the scroll in hand, waiting for your yes. Now your yes has come, and the activation cannot be undone. But listen carefully. You must protect it. There will be one final attempt from the realm of darkness, a subtle temptation, a moment of confusion, an unexpected delay that seems harmless. But it will come. Do not bite the bait. Respond in silence. Remain in peace. Know this. When heaven activates, hell trembles. You will feel the shift. It has already begun. Do not be afraid if you feel overwhelmed in the next 24 hours. That is heaven's weight adjusting in your atmosphere. It's not panic. It's presence. It's not fear. It's fire. Stay still. Pray gently. Say yes every time doubt tries to speak. The award is active, and what's written cannot be unwritten. You are no longer waiting. You are now walking. Type 777 if you declare that your scroll is now open. Type 777 to step into divine inheritance. Type 777 and the angels will mark your name with gold. I, Archangel Michael, stand beside you now, and I tell you this. Heaven has moved. The scroll has descended. You are marked. You are rewarded. You are ready. The final chapter begins. Archangel Michael says, "Now you know. Now it is clear. The delay was not your fault. The silence was not heaven ignoring you. It was war. And you didn't even know you were in one. But I, Michael, knew. I watched every tear. I recorded every moment you chose love when you could have chosen revenge. I stood guard when you were too weary to pray. And now the record has been settled. The award has been released. You don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to beg for what is already yours. Your name is glowing in realms unseen, and the scroll has found its way back into your life. Yes, someone tried to block it. Yes, they whispered, delayed, interfered, but they failed. They underestimated the covenant God made with your name, and now the Spirit speaks this clearly. You will rise, not in pride, but in purpose. You will walk differently, sleep differently, discern differently, because the activation has taken root, and no demon in hell can revoke what heaven has released. Don't question it anymore. Don't replay what hurt you. Don't look back to check if they've changed. Look forward, look up, and walk boldly into the inheritance that's been waiting for you. I, Michael, will continue to stand by your home, not because you are in danger, but because something holy is growing now. And I protect what is sacred. Type 444 if you're ready. Type 444 to declare, the scroll is mine, the delay is over. You are chosen, you are sealed, you are awarded, and this time, Nothing can stop it. Amen.